FaceTime. Oh, there we go. All right, we are there. Sweet. Okay, so if I gotta rotate this guy. What am I doing upside down? Okay, so what? I was just Okay, come on, dude. There we go. I just rotated a second ago. Oh, there, this thing. Okay, hold on. I can do this. All right. So if oh, there we go. There we go. Put this guy right here. And then if I go back to Chrome, this is what it looks like, right? Gotta check if you can hear me. Give a like and subscribe, bro. All right, we live. So this is obviously my first time streaming on YouTube, and we gonna talk about some Ohio law, man. I was just listening to a podcast where they were interviewing a shoot. I don't even know if she's a no. She's in the House of Representatives for New York. So she's a Democrat, and she was talking about how something about like how we can't use moral authority to we can't impose our moral authority on people. And I was just kind of thinking like, yeah, of course not. But now that just kind of like shows um, how like ingrained that whole idea is of like your truth, my truth, whatever. Um, but back in the day, right? Pretty much any like law, I guess, is actually a way of imposing moral authority. And a very simple way of looking at it is how the abolitionists, right, kind of like imposed their moral authority of claiming human dignity for slaves. Is they claimed moral authority and pushed for a legal protection for the human dignity of slaves. And obviously the southern states pushed back against that. So when it comes to today, right, there's always going to be this battle of what is the what is your relationship to the law, right? Is it enforcement, um, or do you believe like you can have whatever laws, but the actual problem or challenge is enforcement? Or is there some like unwritten you know influence of the fact that a law is written at all? And then obviously there's the practical like implications of the effects. Oh, they want me to put the chat on the screen. Yeah, anyway, what was it? Oh yeah, the third thing about I'm just really riffing here. Like, no agenda here. I just wanted to finally get on screen and potentially make this a thing. And obviously my more recent videos on this channel have been about legislation and just kind of like wanting to I just had this idea a few years ago, like, hey, like I don't even know how to find out what the laws are that are governing me. Like, I mean, I do know how to find it out, but I never paid attention to it. So like, why don't I bring more attention to how we do this in Ohio and in the country as a whole? And now I think streaming would be fun to kind of like start a community around this because, obviously a lot of us, I mean, actually, I can't assume anything, honestly, but the one, the one civic action I do every couple of years is vote, right? And um, let's think, do I do anything else? I like work, I play sports, I go to church, and yeah, none of that is really civic action, right? I mean, I volunteer, I guess, every once in a while, but is that civic action? Um, no. Anyway, so the point is like just understanding like what, um, uh, I guess that medium of voting is how you interact with our government, but I think there's a lot more that can be done with interacting with our government, and we kind of have to have a foundation before we do that. Like you can call up senators and your House of Representatives and all that, um, but and yeah, that's something I do not do, which actually probably is a good idea to dip my toes into, but I'm kind of like at the point where like, do I even have that? I don't even know what's going on. I have to have the context to what's actually going on. Like, uh, did so and so House person or senator actually support or not support something that's happening in my locality? Like, that it'd be good to know that before I call them up and yell at them, right? All right. So I just wanted to show how easy, or let's see, how hard it is to find what laws are governing us here. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. What laws are governing us up here in Columbus, Ohio? So is it even easy? Let's find out. So I'm on Chrome right now, and I actually just set up Chrome to stream because it wasn't letting me stream through Safari. So this is literally a brand new Chrome, but freak. I logged in. I logged into Chrome. So this is my Google account, but yeah, that's probably gonna manipulate the freaking search engines, man. Okay, so anyway, let's see with manipulated search engines what. Well, no. See, like that's why I went to DuckDuckGo because supposedly they ain't gonna be doing that. They're not gonna be doing that. I don't know what that ink came where that ink came from. So I typed in Ohio law. We get this site, codes.ohio.gov. So I guess codes is just another name for laws, right? Let's see. Let's define code. Define code in terms of government. In terms of government. Yo, I should check the chat too every once in a while. Let's see what's chat saying. Um, okay, yeah. Christian is saying hi and making fun of. So I pronounced applet, or I pronounced appellate wrong in one of my videos. I was calling it applet, but it should be appellate, and yeah, I'm never gonna be able to live that down, I guess. So code, what does it mean to codify a law? United States Code. Right, is code a synonym for law? Legal code. What's the Hammurabi's something? What's it called? Hammurabi's code. Hammurabi's code. So I think it just has that this is one of the Code of Hammurabi. That was one of the earlier, or one of the probably the earliest documented law list that we have. Honestly, I could probably do a whole stream or video on the Code of Hammurabi. But that was not my intention for this video, so let's stay focused. All right, so a codified law is what's actually governing us. It looks like we have two codes over here. See, I guess it's already confusing. So we we have Ohio laws, but oh, sorry, they're actually explaining it to us. So the Ohio law consists of the Ohio Constitution, right? The Ohio Revised Code, and the Ohio Administrative Code. The Constitution is the state's highest law, superseding all others, right? So the Ohio Supreme Court will make sure that any of these two codes um, conform to what the Ohio Constitution says. And then let's see, the Ohio Revised Code is the law of the state, while the Administrative Code is rules adopted for state agencies using the tools on this site to search or browse. Yeah, so what we're really looking at is the Ohio Revised Code, and I'm glad they have this little blurb to explain it. So maybe it's not as confusing as having these three different search bars here. So let's see. If I just click browse, will it give me a list? Okay, it gives me a little list. That's nice. Let's see. State government, counties, townships. So if I click state government, we got General Assembly, regular session. Okay, defining how the Ohio Congress works. Control of assistance. Okay. Yeah, the chat's not, I don't think the chat's live. It's like a minute delay, right? Let's see. All right, Dave's here too. It looks like, yo, you better like and subscribe, man. Um, all right. Anyway, I need to stay focused. Okay, so we were looking through this website. So okay, this is not bad. Let me type in another state just to kind of compare. Um, let's see, South Dakota. South Dakota law. What's going on here? So we got the legislature, state affairs and government. Okay, not, Ohio's law website looks a little bit better for sure. They don't give us no search bar, just a filter bar. Oh, they rely on Google search to go through the. Oh, okay. Codified laws. Let's see. I'm just gonna do a comparison. Okay. Anyway, so now what am I doing? So can I find like a law that we can all relate to? Education, libraries, insurance, labor, liquor, public welfare, real property, taxation, roads, highways, bridges, highway. Oh yeah, let's see. Speeding. That's a law, man. Okay, let's see. Misdemeanor. Yeah. Okay. This is why they gave us the search bar. So speeding. Can we find out what's speeding? Okay, traffic laws. Vehicle operation. Okay, I'm going to Command F here and speeding. What happens? High speed, low speed, speed. 1 of 11 and at a speed of 25 miles per hour or less. At a speed of not greater than 20. Okay, speed greater than 20. Okay, speed. Maybe I should put a speed limit. Okay, so if I put in speed limit. Speed limits, assured clear distance. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see. 20 miles per hour in a school zone during school recess. Okay. The end of every school zone may be marked by a sign. What if it isn't? Nothing in this section or in the manual and specifications for uniforms institutes require school zones to be indicated by signs equipped with flashlights or giving other special notice of the hour. Okay, so it looks like this law doesn't apply if there aren't signs, I think. May? So may be marked. See, like that. This may has so much legal power right here. Like the law is saying, oh, it might be there, it might not. If it's not, what does that mean? Any special elementary school distance encompassed by projecting the school property lines intersecting the fronting highway and extending a distance of 300 feet on each approach direction. Distance encompassed by the special markings of the pavement for a principal school pupil crosswalk. Okay, and like, do we have, if you're caught speeding, is there like a penalty? Like, is that described here? Okay, so it's giving like, what's it called? Maybe I should actually read everything. See, I'm the problem, man. I'm the problem. So, no person shall operate a motor vehicle at a speed greater. Okay, so I just need to read things. So, it's the very first part of the code here says no person shall, okay, operate a vehicle at a speed greater or less than is reasonable or proper, having due regard to traffic, surface, etc. Where in the pond? Or streetcar upon any street or highway at a greater speed than will permit the person to bring it to a stop within the assured clear distance ahead. Okay, no, that's two different articles. So, at a speed greater or less than is reasonable or proper. So that's it. So, no person shall operate a motor vehicle at a speed greater or less than is reasonable or proper. So that's the law. If it's not reasonable or proper, then you're breaking the law. And then the second part here is no person shall drive any motor vehicle at a greater speed than will permit the person to bring it to a stop within the assured clear distance ahead. Okay, yep, don't go 70 miles per hour if you're going to have to brake in 10 feet. It is a prima facie law for, in the absence of a lower limit declared or established pursuant of this section by the Director of Transportation, operate the same at a speed not exceeding the following. Okay, so these are indications of what the speed limit is, depending on the environment or the type of road it is, or where it is in relation to the city. Again, like if there's a sign or not, does that change anything? Okay. So the stream is going how I kind of imagined it, and I think it's getting kind of boring. Not that I was imagining a boring screen, but this is interesting, like to kind of work through this law together. And as you can see, luckily I'm not from South Dakota because this is a UI mess here. Like I can't even click education; I have to click the number. So anyway, yeah. So thanks for like coming to the stream. I think the intention for this specific episode of streaming is just to kind of get to your local laws. And luckily for Ohio, like I do one DuckDuckGo search and I get it. I like how I missed it. It was literally the first sentence, but like this is saying what we can or cannot do, right, according to speed limits. I didn't get to finding a penalty. Let's see. So that's the numbered bullets here are talking about the actual what the limit should be set at. In every charge of violation of this section. Okay, so yeah, here's the penalty. So specify the time, place, and speed. Okay, so it's telling the police officers or whoever's enforcing what has to happen here. Oh wait, I want to look at prima facie. What the heck is prima facie, man? Prima facie. See, like, so that's the point of the stream. So just kind of go through this together. At first sight, first impression. When the speed is in excess of about the prima facie limitation, limitation and division of this section is alleged. The defendant shall be charged in a single affidavit. Okay, what's the actual penalty? Points shall be assessed. Okay, sweet. So we got the penalty here. Points shall be assessed for violation of the limitation under Division D. So you know how you get points on your record, I guess, when you are ticketed. Is there a financial penalty that they specify? Maybe it's because it's based on the area. Oh, whoops. This is a Command F type of search. Fine. Define. Is there fines? We get fined. Okay. So, looks like no court shall impose a fine of 2 times the usual amount imposed for a violation. So yeah, it even talks about fines here. Okay. So usual, though, that's another very vague term. All right. Well, I'm going to do this more often. Or I'm going to try and do this at least again at some point. So thanks for joining me. As we navigate through this, I'll have more of a plan next time so that we can actually like have, go into this a little bit more. And obviously I don't want to just talk about or just read through, different legislation going on, but actually talk about things at a higher level, like, what's what's the moral authority that someone in Congress or the Senate like claimed or is using to say this should eventually become a codified law that governs us as a people in this area, right? And expanding that obviously to the federal level, like, obvious and like should what's too big of an area of governance before certain laws don't make sense, right? Obviously, the speed limits in one state shouldn't necessarily well, maybe they should. Like, what's a good jurisdiction, right, for certain laws like speed limits, right? We always joke about how in Germany, right, there's the Autobahn, and they're driving like, without a speed limit. And then is it about like how does population density, relate to that? And like for different cultures, like maybe they don't have a law for something just because it's so against or opposite of their cultural norms that it doesn't need to be written, it doesn't need to be codified. And that could, you could change that to the state level. Like, let's try and think of something spontaneously. In Florida where it's not going to snow, like there's not going to be snow laws, right? So you wouldn't think to put maybe a traffic law saying something like, oh, if there's this much precipitation or this much snow, you're not going to have some law in Ohio governing a state where there's some snow law in Ohio, like governing a state that has no snow, right? And yeah, so there's just all these things to think about, Cool. All right, so thank you so much for joining me, and hope you come back next time I go live.